Here we are again, and today our cyber town hall is with Honorable Tasha Diaz. Tasha is also known as the Iron Lady, and that is the reason for that. Strong personality, and she tells you like it is. There is no hold bars here. Tasha, thank you for sitting down with us.
Thank you for having me.
Tasha, has been, a month since you took office, a month and a few days?
Yes.
Is it like you expected to be?
Yes, I was always a community person, so basically, I just have an office now to run out of.
That's true. But the power of having an office, it's different than just walking around or talking to community and help them. You can do something about the things you don't like now. Before you could just speak about it, bring it to light. But now you have the power of a vote. And I remember your very first vote.
Yes.
I was just right down there. I was looking at your face and I said, not a happy camper.
No, I wasn't.
How you classify, or how would you say things work? Is it what you expect it to be, or there is some games, some things that they project it to be, and then it is something else? Tell us a little bit about your day-to-day.
Well, as people know in politics, there's always people playing games all the time. I just came in and was straightforward and let them know I'm not for the games. I'm not here to play games. I'm here to represent the constituents. This is what they put me here for. To me, it's not a job. It's just basically, like you said, having a stronger voice, because I've always had a voice in the community. This position just gave me a stronger voice, so that way the people can speak through me.
Speak through you. That's a very strong statement, Tasha. Speak through you.
Yes.
Now, are you going to truly speak the concerns of what the people, or are you going to be playing a little politics? And I'm asking you this because I just called you Iron Lady.
Yes.
And Iron Lady plays no games.
No.
It's business. And your interest is what? The people.
Exactly.
What have you determined or defined what are the main concerns of those that elected you to the office, and what do they expect you to do for them?
Yes. I've been highlighting those actually since I won back in June. So this is just basically continuing where I left off.
Tell us what it is.
Well, I've been advocating for the seniors. That's one of the big things, because our seniors, usually they don't have a voice. You know, people make them hush and be quiet, and they get scared. So in talking to the seniors, I feel as if I have to be their advocate. So the seniors are one, and the children. I picked education because I want to advocate for the children. I want to be their voice. I want the children to be sitting in this very seat that I am right now. I want to let them know it's okay to be different. Be yourself, because that's what I was. I was myself. I was different. They tried to make me feel like something was wrong with me because I was different. But look where I am right now. Different is what they wanted. Change is what they demanded. And this is why I am here.
And change is what they got.
Exactly.
Words like that, there is not much. Even though I like a good argument, I like to debate, but I agree. Okay? When you write, you're right.
Yes, it is what it is.
But Tasha, how can you implement those changes unless the other councilmen are on your side? Because yes, you might want to be the change. Mm-hmm. You might want to see the change that you always talked about. But there is so much that you can do unless you're able to convince the other council people that you are on the right. And if they played or tried to play a game when you first took office, that's not a good indication that they're going to be playing on your team. So how you think about maneuvering that?
Well, those will be the people that will be brought to light, so that way the constituents can know. Yes, I am only one vote. Hopefully my colleagues will vote with me, because I know I'm going to vote with my heart. My first vote was with my heart. So I feel as if they're on board, they're on board. But if they're not, the train is pulling off regardless. So I'm going to let them know straightforward. I may be only one voice, but I know my voice will be a strong voice, because if I vote that way, that means I'm voting for the people, because I will always go to the people first. And then I will bring it back to my colleagues and say, I think we should vote this way because of X, Y, and Z. Now, if they don't follow the road and we come to the vote and say, I am just the one vote, say,
You know, Tasha, I kind of agree with you. Even if you don't get what you want, but at least the people will know that you fought for them.
exactly.
So it's important.
Yes.
Okay. They need to realize that you are fighting for what is of interest to them.
Yes.
You care about them, not just about Tasha Diaz.
No.
Tasha, we have a majority Democratic,
Super majority.
supermajority.
Yes.
But your colleague from the Democratic line gave all most important positions to the Republicans. It's awkward. People out there are saying, what's going on? Is that something I'm not understanding in this picture? We have a supermajority, but key positions are given to the Republican side. Do you have any explanation for that? Don't forget, you are the Iron Lady,
Yes.
and you don't hold nothing back. You
No.
speak your heart.
When that went down, I feel as if, I'm going to put it like this. Dinner was cooked, certain people were invited, and certain people got the leftovers.
You were not invited to the party?
I was invited afterwards. I feel as if I was an afterthought. And that right there struck a chord in my heart. Because if I'm planning a party or an event, when I initially plan it, the people that I want there, I'm going to make sure they get that invite to be there. If you get an invite afterwards, it's an afterthought. So I felt as if dinner was cooked, served, there was some stuff left over. So basically they said, well, let's call everybody else up. We got a couple of scraps left over.
Some people disagree with you.
Let's give them what's left.
Some people disagree strongly with that. Some people say that was done by design. It didn't just happen. Okay, that was done on purpose. Are they wrong, or are you giving me the political answer?
No, I'm not giving you the political answer. I'm just newly elected, so I'm still learning. I've always been into politics here and there. I dibbled and dabbled. Like I said, I'm still learning, and I'm seeing certain things that, like you said, you could tell when it's not right and when it is right. I believe that there were things beforehand. Can I prove it? No. But I believe there was. It's something in my heart that's telling me there were prior conversations. And we were left out. There were certain people that were left out.
We is more than one person.
Right.
Who's the other we?
Well, the other two Democrats.
They were all left out.
I feel as if we were all left out.
Well, I spoke with Council President Michael Cater, and he felt the same. He felt that he was left out. I talked to the people outside on the street. They see no reason why we have a super majority, but key positions and important positions are given to the Republicans. And very often people call Yonkers the city of hills, and when they see something like this, those are things that make you go,
Yes, it does.
Now, Tasha, going forward, how you think, or how you going to deal with crime in your district? Crime, jobs, education. I think it's the most important things, at least to me.
Right.
Okay? To you as well?
Yes, of course. I was born and raised in that actual district. So we've already been working with the police department. Anyone that comes through that part of Yonkers, which is the south side of Yonkers, we've already been cleaning up. You can contact the police commissioner, you can contact the captain, and they can tell you what work we've been doing. We had a lot of issues in a particular building. We cleaned that up. I made sure that they got access to that building. So all the police officers have fobs to get to get into the building diligently. They do have security in that building.
Quick response.
Yes, and that's one thing they didn't have. So I'm working on lighting issues in that particular building. I've made sure that a lot of the lighting posts, if not all of them, the lights have been restored. There's a lot of people that's coming up to me and respecting what I've done and in this short period of time. They could actually come out of the building and they don't have to worry about walking through a crowd of people that they don't know. Because most of the people that were there hanging on the street corner, they don't live there. I've noticed at the end of the night, they go home. But this is where I live. This is where the majority of my constituents live.
What about if it wasn't the place where you live? Because, that is what you just described. It happens in many areas.
Yes, of course.
Now, we have a supermajority, as you said. And if all the Democrats get together, because Democrats control the areas where the most trouble happens.
Yes.
So it's just a matter of getting together and doing exactly what you did.
Yes.
Why isn't that being done?
I just feel as that some people, not everybody has their heart in this. I'm Yonkers, born and bred. I've always been a fighter. I'm born to fight, and this probably won't be my last fight. And I'm ready for that. I'm ready for whatever comes forth to me. So at the end of the day, I've been fighting for not only the South Side, but the North Side as well. I fought to make sure the Haven is gonna get access to a bus so they can go shopping. These are things that they had, but didn't have anymore. Working with Kelly Chiarella from the Office of the Aging, made that happen. Working with the police department, I cleaned up that area. There were phone calls that were given to me from Warburton Avenue. Light posts down, wires, screws out of signs where dogs, would get scratched, bruised. I made sure that happened. I have a record of everything that I've done since I've been in this seat. And I have had no complaints.
Since we talk about crime, things related to crime, you're building things that, that's been going on. I have interviewed the police commissioner, John Mueller, and he spoke about precise policing. Are you familiar with this term?
Yes.
How you feel about that?
It all depends.
One?
I want the police to be active, but I don't want the police to come in an aggressive manner where it's going to scare people. I want them to know that they're supposed to come in a friendly demeanor, because a lot of people were scared to be around the police, but not all of the police are scared. Not all of the police are bad, and I want people to know that, because when I was growing up, the two key things that they told me, your principal and the police are your pal. And a lot of kids that are growing up, there's a stereotype about the police department. I wanted to bridge that gap between the community and the police department to let them know that the police are good. So I've done Halloween with the police department, brought them in a community where they've given out candy. This is something that they've always done, but I brought them into the community. The kids were happy, they loved it. We also had a gingerbread extravaganza, which was the first in Yonkers history. We had about 75 kids and parents. So that's over 150 people we had. The police department came out, sat with the kids, gave out advent calendars. So the community is getting more comfortable with the police. And this is what I want. I want people to be able to come out in the summertime and don't have to worry about crime. Yes, crime is down. We want to keep it down, because we all know when the weather warms up, people's temperatures warm up.
Things flare.
Yes, and that's what we don't want.
But Tasha, crime, it's normal.
Yes.
In a city of our size. Do we want to reduce crime? Of course we do. Do we want to eliminate crime? Sure we do. But we got to be realistic. It's impossible to eliminate crime. It's possible to reduce it to a certain extent.
Yes.
Now, also speaking with the commissioner, he has told me many times that communication is important. Yes. Communication between law enforcement and the community that they serve. Now, do you think that they need to do more than just coffee with a cop and stop and shake? Or do you think that those programs are sufficient?
Those programs are...
I'm sorry. Are those programs reaching the trouble spots? Or are they bringing people that don't have already a problem with the police, that have good communication with the police?
Well, I believe it is touching some people, because you can go on my Facebook page where people said we need to have more.
I've seen it on my page too.
But they want to change the time because, you know, a lot of people work during the morning and the afternoon. So they were asking, can we get a Saturday? Can we get an evening? So people do want to come out. And I believe it's a good way for the police department to get in touch.
So do I. You know, I have been in many of those events. Pizza with a cop. I wish we had a wine with a cop, but you know, pizza, McDonald's, coffee with a cop. And I have seen that from the beginning. They used to, in the first few that I went, 6, 7 people, then 12, 20. The last one at McDonald's, the turnout was unbelievable.
Yes.
So people are reacting positively.
Yes.
But are we reaching that person that really needs to be educated about police officers and how important it is to have a good communication between police department and community? That's my thing. Because me going and address a family that already understands how police works and is there having a coffee with us is really not going to solve the problem unless I reach that hardcore that really don't understand police department. And then because of a program like that, I'm able to turn him around. Now I have something.
Well, there actually is a program that is in play. She started, I don't remember her name. I actually met her at Coffee with a Cop. She works out of the PAL.
Okay.
It started January 1st, where they have youth court. And say per se a child gets in trouble, the police officer can recommend them go to this youth court, which is held right here in City Hall on the 4th floor in the ceremonial courtroom on Mondays. And they recommend different things other than jail. Not only that, there's going to be a referral program. So just like you said, if we have a child that we know that lives in a community and is troubled, has flown under the radar of the police department, we can refer that child to come to the ceremonial courtroom and see if we can give them another alternative, another avenue before they have police contact. That's what we want to do.
That should be also part of the sentencing process.
Yes.
If they go to a judge and say, look, we give you an alternative. Spend 6 months on this program. It might change your life around. Or serve time.
Right.
Maybe we're able to change or switch that mindset before the crime is so aggravated that it's too late to turn the clock back.
And I told her I would co-sponsor. She's going to start it. She's going to spearhead it. And I told her that I would co-sponsor because I'm always out in the community. And I have parents that have come to me now and said, you know, my child wasn't always a bad child, but now that they have gotten into high school, they've been subjected to certain people. So now they feel as if me giving them a curfew is not fair because their friend doesn't have a curfew. And the parents are like, our hands are kind of tied because CPS steps in and certain things. So parents that have smaller children, they're really kind of scared to actually parent because they feel like if I parent, I'm going to get in trouble by CPS or something like that. So I think this program is an open door policy where the parents can say, I have another alternative. I have someone here that's going to hear me to say, my child may have flown under the radar of the police department, but I'm telling you the path that they're taking. Can you please help them now before they go down that wrong path?
I agree. You know, sometimes we are reactive and we should be proactive.
Yes.
Okay. Take action before it's too late.
Yes.
Because once that child stabs another child,
Yes.
it might be just a little bit too late.
Yes.
Now, Tasha, I like what you're saying. And I have to tell you that the people of Yonkers really care, not about the little things, because I'm not going to call that the little things,
Right.
but the garbage things in your neighborhood, the pickup, the snow being shoveled, the education, the proactive. Those are things that the people of the community really care about it. Because not too many people on Lawrence Street or people on your district have $1 million problems.
Right.
They have a problem with my garbage not being picked up. They have a problem with snow is not being shoveled in the wintertime. They have a problem with too much noise on the street. Those little things that people call little problems are the problems
Yes, they are.
to people in your district.
Yes, they are. But I always tell all constituents, no problem is ever too big or too small. Call me. I don't live exactly where the problem or the issue may be going on, but you have to live there. And as my constituent, I want you to feel comfortable. I have an open door policy. From day one, when I started, I've had meetings back to back to back. If you look at my schedule, I've already clocked in over 250 hours. And remember, we're only mandated to come one day a week. I've been here every day since I've started.
But like you said, you're not here for the money.
No.
So the hours shouldn't be a factor for you not to do your job. Because you're here for the best of the people.
Of course.
So sometimes it means that you're going to work a few extra hours than you were supposed to.
Exactly.
The day that you start watching the clock, that's the day that we need to get you out of here.
Exactly. And I totally agree with that, because they say this is a part-time job. It's a full-time job. If you take it seriously, it's a full-time job.
You've been doing it for a long time without an office.
Exactly.
So now that you have an office, you should work double as hard.
And that's what I've been doing. I'm still doing my food program. I'm still delivering to seniors. Nothing has changed but my title. That's it. I'm still the same person. I still reside in the same address. I'm still me. I'm still a mom. I'm still a wife. I'm a daughter, a godmother. I have numerous godchildren, foster parent. I'm still me.
Are you also a miracle worker? Because how you manage all those things, Tasha? How you manage?
The man upstairs.
He guides you.
He guides me. He wakes me up every morning. And as long as he's going to wake me up, this is what I'm here to do.
Tasha, let's look at the camera, because there is a subject that I really want to ask you. Transparency. How transparent are you, and how important it is to be transparent to the public? Now, transparency it's a term used very loosely. They all talk about it. But you cannot be transparent unless your actions synchronize with your words.
Yes.
How important is it for you?
Well, I ran on my platform with transparency, inclusion, and diversity. And when I ran, a lot of people kept saying, she's not going to win. But if you were a real community person and you actually knew me, you would have known that I was going to win.
Did you know that you were going to win?
I did know I was going to win, because I felt it in my heart. Because I didn't do it for my own personal political gain. I did it for the community. I did it for the people.
And you had a good team. Don't get emotional on me now, because then it's two of us crying here. Okay. Now I know that Lorraine Lopez, good friend of mine, good friend of yours?
That's a family member of mine.
Family member of yours, worked very hard to educate the people of Yonkers about your platform.
Yes.
You had a strong support from strong people.
Yes.
And I think that is extremely important.
Yes.
You had people that really trusted you.
Yes. So I couldn't let them down.
You cannot let them down.
No.
Not just them. You cannot let the people who trusted you and voted for you. So regardless, if you lose a proposal, it doesn't matter if you lose or win, as long as you do what you think is best.
Yes.
For the people, because people will remember that next time the voting comes around.
Of course.
They're going to say, well, she didn't win. She wasn't able to do everything that she promised, but we know why she wasn't able to do what she promised. So it's very important to stay true to the things that you promise, to the things that you believe are important and are important for the people that you are elected to represent.
Yes.
Now, what have been your challenges, Tasha? I'm sure that not everything is roses. That's life.
Of course.
Okay? Not everything is good in life. Not everything is good sometimes with your family, relationships or whatever. I disagree with my wife sometimes. That doesn't mean I love her any less. Okay? I still love her. Okay? And I'm sure that here in his family, council family,
yes,
that you represent the people, I know that not everything goes the way that you wish.
Right.
They would go. What have been most conflict or things that have opposed your ideas or friction about you implement what you think is best?
Well, so far, No one, I can honestly say, no one has given me any pushback. It's like you said, they know I'm a strong person. And when I bring something forth, I always have an example. So a lot of things that I propose, like I just proposed the HUD toll-free hotline, that was something that should have been in play. Not that HUD is a bad entity, it's a great entity. It's a part of affordable housing. It's just that we needed an advocate. And a lot of people would call the office, whether it was Michael Sabatino's term or now my term, a lot of people would call the office and need us to advocate for certain deplorable conditions. And our hands are tied. It's only but so much we can do. So I came up with that to say, we need a toll-free hotline, like 311 in the city. So that way they can call and report what their issue is and get a ticket number. And then when they call us for help on the city level, we could actually call HUD and say, this person had a ticket number, this date, can you tell us, was it followed up? Was it? And I made that resolution and it passed 7-0. So that was my first resolution that was passed. So I can't actually say anyone has given me any pushback as of right now. Will I get some in the future? Of course.
I bet you.
Of course.
But that's, it's part of it. It's part of it.
Exactly.
That's why we have two parties.
Yes.
One is going to push the other.
Yes. But I'm Yonkers born and bred. I'm a fighter. Was born to fight. I'll always be a fighter. I'm going to make sure that I fight for the betterment of the people. I don't want to just fight to fight. I want to make sure when I fight, my voice is heard, and it's for the betterment of the people.
Well, I agree with you. I have more or less the same policy in Yonkers Voice. We like people to come and talk about the issues, but we don't want to be a page where people just come and bitch about things.
Yes.
We want to be a page where people can come and offer possible solutions.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about problems.
Yes.
Let's talk about possible solutions, and let's talk about the things that you, the people, are doing to help those problems being solved. Okay, I'll give you an example. Housing.
Yes.
Buildings.
Yes.
I'm going to talk to that because it's a subject that I want to talk to you about.
Yes.
Okay. People talk about the rats, this, landlord doesn't clean this, landlord doesn't do that. Yonkers Voice, can you come and film this? Sure, we go there and film, but as always, I talk with both sides of the problem. Okay, we hear what you have to say, but we want to hear what the landlord has to say.
Yes.
Because very often the issue is not the problem that is initially reported. Mm-hmm. So we go and we look at the rats. Yeah, I see rats here, I see rats there, and I see rats there. But what else do I see? I see dog food all over the floor.
Yes.
That dog food all over the floor that the tenant dropped is not helping with the rat solution. So you must be part of the solution that you are complaining about.
Exactly.
Now, but there is other problems that the tenant has no involved fixing. Heating, living conditions.
Yes.
And I've been hearing from Corazon for a long time about this supposed database for the landlords. So if I'm renting a place, I should be able to go to a database and find out how many violations that landlord got it, what has he done to fix, how many second violation he got on the same subject. I haven't heard that being in place. Is it?
It was supposed to be a database, like you said, in place. I wasn't on the city council when she implemented that.
But you now?
But yes, I just want to be the people's voice. So right now I'm starting from a fresh, clean slate. A lot of issues I do personally know about. And like you said, there are tenants that don't make the problem any better.
They compound the problem sometimes.
Yes, like people that hang out on a corner or in front of a stoop. Whatever they eat or drink goes right there on the floor.
That's nothing. I have gone to a building, I'm not going to tell the name of the building, and I had to go upstairs for an issue. They called me. And as I went into the elevator, there were feces in the elevator. Dude, come on, this is the place where you live. Be the change
Yes.
you want to see.
Yes. And see, in my building, that's how we work. My building is family oriented. If you come to my building, it's always clean. We have security. My super is on premises. So if there's any issues or that you're having, you can always knock on his door. We have a 24-hour service. We have an elevator. If the elevator ever breaks down, we have 24-hour service. They're there. These are landlords like mine that we need, that care about the people that utilize their buildings. We have a community room, which we use. We have, which, by the way, was closed for 26 years before I came the president of the Tenants Association. 26 years it was closed. I made sure that people got access to certain areas to get to the garage, because we did have a problem with people hanging out. And some of the people in my building were scared to go into the garage area. So I made sure that they had another entrance to enter, to get into the garage with a camera, so that way they felt safe. Not only that, we put cameras, good cameras, all around the perimeter of my building. Not only that, we gave police access to those cameras.
IP cameras, they can have access to the camera real time? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And that was all implemented through my building owner. He wants the building to be safe. If we have more landlords like that are going to work with the tenants, because any issue we had, we can call my landlord and say, look, we need help with this. He's there. The
problem is we don't have too many landlords like that.
But those are the ones that we have to call out. Because you can keep giving them violation after violation. The violations are small. So as a landlord, that's nothing to them.
Double the violations and enforce the violations.
Exactly.
The city needs to go hard on those that keep violating and don't care. But a lot of people say that inspectors are really taking payoff sometimes.
And those are the ones we have to go after as well. You have to lead by example.
Correct. Now, we have a question here from Jamal Harrison asking you, what is her plan and strategy to implement her plan to protect the people?
Well, I've already been implementing that plan. I've made sure that the lighting has been fixed in areas where I get calls from. I've made sure that police have been patrolling in certain areas. Anytime I get a call, I go out myself and I look at the area and I report back to the police. Look, I've seen this with my own 2 eyes. You may have driven by, or you may have gotten a report, and maybe they couldn't get there as diligently as they should. So I can go over to the area and say, look, I've been there, I've seen it. This is the person that's complaining. Maybe we need more eyes over there. Maybe we need to patrol the area a little bit more. We wanted to start a block watch program. I'm working with the police with that as well. With the block watch program, we're going to have a meeting where people are going to come in. The police are going to give them a block watch number. So if you do see something that is not so good in your area, you can call this number. You get a number and you give them your block watch number, and they know you're a block watcher. So they'll come out and they'll survey the area.
But you see, one of the problems is with police reaction time. Mm-hmm. Personally, I know that if it's calls are prioritized when they came in, if it's a stabbing, a murder, the reaction time, it's 1-2 minutes.
Right.
They there.
Right.
But if the call is, hey, too much garbage in front of my building, we cannot expect that the police department will be there in 2 minutes.
Exactly.
Okay. So all these wants that we want this, we want that, and we want that. An invoice is attached to all the wants.
Yes.
In order to fulfill the wants, there is a price attached to it. And that invoice is called taxes.
Yes.
We want this, we want that, but we don't want to pay the taxes when the tax increases comes.
Yes.
So how can we have all that and maintain the taxes as they are? Because they keep coming up in the last 2 budgets.
Right.
So what's the formula, Tasha?
The formula is we need to go back to the drawing board, see where there is unnecessary money spent. Because I'm pretty sure there's money that's spent not in a good way. We need to we need to be a little bit more frugal when we spend our tax dollars.
Are you implying that tax dollars are spent in unwise way?
Sometimes they can be.
Can you give us an example?
If someone has a no-show job, or if someone has...
that doesn't exist.
Well,
It does?
have I seen it personally? No. Have I heard of it? Yes. Do I have my eye open? Yes, I do.
Okay.
So that's where when we go through the budget, which Moranti has budget. So when we go through the budget, we'll see where money was spent that shouldn't have been spent, or money that should have been somewhere else to implement a lot of these changes. So we can find money somewhere so taxes doesn't have to be raised. That's what we'll do.
I keep hearing about that taxes don't have to be raised, but somehow they've been raised every year.
Oh, yes, they have.
Okay, and they've been raised, and people with fixed income
Those are the ones that hurt the most.
are the ones that hurt the most.
Yes.
And very often, those people with the fixed income are the elderly. Those are the guys that come out and vote every single time.
Yes.
And they vote every single time based on that promise that taxes are not going to go up. Just to wait a few months and see the taxes going up. Even if it's a point or 2 points, it might not make much of a difference to you, to me, and to some, but to others, it makes hell of a difference.
Yes. And that's why I always advocate for my seniors. I know taxes do go up. I try to suppress anything that I can with them. So that's why I started the food distribution program, to help them, because a lot of seniors are on a fixed income. $4 to us, maybe nothing, but $4 to them, that is a meal. So I always make sure I visit the seniors once, sometimes twice a month, to make sure that they get the bare necessities to make a meal. So I always deliver eggs, cheese, bread. They always get a meat, a starch, vegetables. These are things that I make sure that they get to suppress the hardships.
Tasha, if you were an elderly person and you had to make a choice between food or medication, which one would you pick?
Some of them are choosing the medication because they need it to live. We need food to live too, but the medication is, yes, a lot of the seniors are choosing medication. They need it to live.
Some cannot afford it, even they choose it, but they cannot
Yes.
afford it.
Yes. And that's why I make sure my food program that they are always, they always have access to food, always. And it's not only them. Sometimes I go and meet and they have an older child that has children that need food. And I make sure I deliver to them as well. When God took he took fish and 5 loaves of bread and fed thousands of people. So that's the aspect that I keep in my mind. The food program that I have may not be the biggest, but I know I can touch a lot of people. And that's what I've been doing.
Well, guys, I can vouch on that one. I know Tasha and I have disagreed here and there, but I so disagreed with all of them. Sometimes it's the council president, sometimes it's Tasha, sometimes it's whoever. Okay, I don't agree all the time, and I call them out when I disagree. I'm not saying I am right, but when I do disagree, I do disagree. But on this one, I have to vouch for Tasha. We know each other for a few years, and actually the way I met you was because you were delivering food in different buildings to the seniors. That I can vouch, and I congratulate you that you continue.
Thank you.
But the thing that I like the most, Tasha, is that you don't wait for Thanksgiving to do those things. Okay, Thanksgiving should be every day if you can afford to do that. We waste so much food in our own households that sometimes doing a little help, and we can, it's important. Don't just wait for Thanksgiving. We can be thankful every day.
Yes.
I see Thanksgiving, we use that opportunity for Photoshop opportunities. That's nonsense.
It is.
Okay. Make it Thanksgiving every single day. Mental illness, Tasha, your district. And I know that because I hear those calls, and very often I go with the police department. Well, let me correct that. I don't go with the police department. I go to the scene to see what's going on and document. And I go to a mental illness, EDP people, because it's important to document. Because if you don't document, it's like it didn't exist. Or if you have a problem but you don't report it, it's like it never happened. Mm-hmm. So we need to report. Mental illness is a serious problem.
It is.
Okay.
And it's a growing problem.
And it's a growing problem.
And mental illness comes in all shapes and forms. Someone can appear well to you, but have a mental illness.
Correct. And you don't need to drive very far from the center, from Gary Square, to see it. That issue needs to be addressed, Tasha.
Yes.
It needs to be addressed.
It does.
It needs to be fixed. Because when somebody goes a little bit, how would I say it, emotionally disturbed, and picks up a knife and stabs somebody because he's upset,
Yes.
that victim can be my child, your child, anybody's child. And leaving that person outside on the street or take him in to release him in a few hours, it's not a solution.
No, it's not. I believe we need
What do you
some
propose?
I believe we need some transitional housing. We need to dedicate, we need to get a piece of land and dedicate just a facility based where we can bring these people in and hopefully help them and guide them and put them in some kind of transitional housing where we can still oversee them, but still let them have their normal life, to make sure that they are taking their medication, that they are eating, that they do come in and check in and things like that. And that's one of the things that I'm looking into that I want to propose.
But that's another want. And if we get that want, there is an equal attached price to it.
Right,
So we want all these things, but we don't want to pay for it.
right.
Where we would get the money for it?
I believe
Federal? It's a federal problem.
Yes,
It's-
yes. And
it's a national problem.
Right, and I think if we pitch it to the federal government in the right way and let them see what we want to do, if we put some proper plans in play, I believe that they'll be for it. I think that they'll be for it because, like HUD is a federal funded entity. HUD will give you funds as long as you're doing the right thing with them. And I believe if we propose something and say, look, we want some kind of transitional housing. We want people to be off the streets. We want to make sure they get the help that they need, whether it be counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists, things that they need. I think if we can put this in play, I think they'll be for it.
Talk about making the right pitch to get the money. Let's transition to education.
Yes.
Education is very important.
It is.
No one can debate that.
No.
Even I wish I could argue that one, but I can't. It's important.
Yes, it is.
Those are the foundations for the success of
Yes.
our children. We have Yonkers public schools and we have the charter schools.
Yes.
What is your view on the charter schools?
With the charter schools, they have their ups and they have their downs as well. I believe that they charge us quite a few for our children to go there, because
They charge?
it goes through the city.
Yeah.
So the city pays a certain amount per child to go to a charter school, and it could be an astronomical amount of money. I believe we need to take care of our schools first. The schools are not in very good condition. Mold.
Our schools
Asbestos.
are in very bad condition,
Yes.
you mean, right?
Yes, that's what I said. Our schools are not in very good condition. I know that there's supposed to be a school going up in my very district, the old St. Denis building. Hopefully it goes up while I'm still in office, because I want to be a part of that. I want to implement change. I want to let them know what's needed so these children can succeed. Saunders Trade and Technical High School, I went to that school. I graduated from there as my sister, as my daughter, and as my son just graduated last year from there. It's an awesome school. We need more schools like that. Trade schools, state-of-the-art schools. We should have state-of-the-art schools right now. We still have schools without air conditioning. That is a problem.
But let's stay on the success of the charter schools. Tons of parents are trying to register their kids at the CSEE on Warburton Avenue.
Yes.
Grades are unbelievable. Academically,
Yes.
they're doing great. Why are they doing great academically and the Yonkers public schools are not doing so great? I'm not saying the public schools are not doing good.
Right.
I see the reports, I see everything, and I know they are doing well, but they're not doing as well as the charter schools.
Because I believe the charter schools have more structure. When the children come in, they're all in uniform. It's a more structured, no talking in the hallways, stand up straight. It's more of an etiquette. as opposed to in Yonkers Public School, it's everybody's a little bit more laid back. I believe they need to get a little bit more stern and let the children know that they care.
It's about discipline.
Yes, yes. And I went to Catholic school for my first 6 years. I begged to go to public school. I begged my mother to go to public school, and she finally gave in. Because I wanted to be around people. I wanted to be around more people. I was always a community person. I was a Girl Scout. I was a CBC Angel. I sang in a choir. And I wanted to just be around people. My grandmother always took me everywhere with her. So I was always around older people. I wasn't really around people my age per se.
Let's move to homeless problems in Yonkers. Homeless does not mean you don't have a job.
Right.
Okay? I know homeless people that do work.
Yes.
But they cannot afford a home in Yonkers.
Exactly.
Okay? I see jobs in Yonkers, constructions, and I have been at those construction sites, and they asked me to move out, to leave this, leave the area, because they knew why I was there. I wanted to know, who are those people working?
Not from Yonkers.
Not from Yonkers. I'm looking at those trucks that are delivering supplies for the construction, not from New York State. I go to the hotels on Sawmill River Road, on Sawmill Parkway, I apologize, and I see a lot of people there that are staying there, people that are working at these construction jobs in Yonkers. So what's going on? Why can we fix this? When we give tax, exemptions to those builders, why don't we say, you have to employ people of Yonkers first? Now, I'm not saying give somebody a job of an electrician just because you are from Yonkers.
Exactly.
You must be able to perform the job that you're applying for.
Yes.
Okay. But once they get the contract, all those understandings are down the drain, and there is not a way to enforce them. Some people might say, can you give me an example? Yeah, I can give you a whole bunch of examples. I can give you the example of the Yonkers city jail house by the river. How much tax exemption did he got? It was supposed to be a place where people of Yonkers could go there and use that place as a place to expose their art. When was the first event held there? So what's going on?
That's one of the issues as well. I want to make sure that these buildings that are going up, the people in the community have a voice about them because they have to live around them. The developers don't live here. Also, they need to be built by people that live in Yonkers and utilize Yonkers, specifically unions. Because the unions will bring in apprenticeships, which these children will not only have jobs while the buildings are going up, they have the potential to have a career. So when they use union and the union are teaching these children can have careers. There used to be a program, the pathway to apprenticeship. I spoke to one of the gentlemen. He's still employed through them, and he didn't know anything about that, but he went in as an apprentice. These are the kind of jobs we need. That's the reason why we need people from Yonkers to be able to build these buildings, so that way we can utilize them as well. These people are coming in from the city. They're getting on the train. They're not spending money here in Yonkers. They're spending all their money in the city. They're coming to Yonkers to just rest their head. The developers, they're building and they're going elsewhere. That's the problem that I'm having.
How would you suggest for a mechanism to deal with those that they negotiate based on this, and that, but once they got a contract, they do it differently? What would be the way to fix this problem, Tasha?
There needs to be some oversight. After you get the contract and you say you're going to do X, Y, and Z, someone needs to come in and monitor that and make sure the expensive siding or installation that you claim to put in the walls, that you really use that. Because that turns into an issue as well. We all know people put things on paper and make it look good and give you the high quote, but when you go back, you can see they use the cheapest sheetrock. They didn't use insulation. That's a lot of things that I'm finding out in a lot of the buildings that went up, that they proposed one thing and they used other materials.
Who's in charge of enforcing those codes?
The buildings department.
And who does the building department works for?
The city of Yonkers.
And where do you work for?
The city of Yonkers.
Okay, then you got some homework to do. Well, Tasha, we've been on for like 30 minutes or more, and I know you have people's business to take care. I have to thank you. But before we close this interview, I want to give you an opportunity to maybe to address anything that maybe I forgot to ask you, anything that you want to tell the people of Yonkers. So this is it. Tell them whatever you need to.
I want to tell the people of Yonkers, I'm strong, I'm a fighter, I was put here for a reason. A lot of people doubted my skills and what I was able to do, but action speaks louder than words, and I'm ready for work, and I'm ready to move Yonkers forward.
Hashtag action, not words. That's the one we need to use when we talk about issues in Yonkers, or any issue. We can say whatever we want. We can write poems about it, we can make pretty lines about it, we can say we are upset about it, but nothing changes unless we put actions together with those words. So guys, be the change you want to see. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for our afternoon interview with Mayor Andrea Wallace from Mount Vernon. It's going to be an interesting interview. Watch it. It's coming up later at 1 o'clock from Yonkers Voice on Mount Vernon Voice. Tasha, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. And don't forget, anytime you have anything to say, anytime that you want to bring something to the attention of the people of Yonkers, we are here. We don't endorse, we don't oppose any candidate, and for sure, we don't get paid to talk good or bad about anyone. I don't care. Well, better yet, I do care. But what I have in this game is to inform the people. Then you can formulate your own opinion about what my guests say. But for sure, I don't get paid to write good or bad about anyone. Have I ever charged you for that?
No.
Have I ever insinuated that you should pay me to say anything good or bad about you?
No.
No one can say that. No one can prove that. Till next time. Thank you.